reason why a lot of people won't become who they want is because they're too attached to who they've been. And you hear it all the time when people say, I've always been this way. Okay, well, if that's working for you, keep doing that. I knew it wasn't working for me any longer. I had hit my version of rock bottom. So I was willing to let go of everything and everybody. See, another reason why people won't get there is because the doorway is for you to fit through. You trying to carry everybody else through because you're trying to be Rescue 911. And you got to rescue you first. I am much more valuable to my family and to my community because I was willing to let them go.
Many times we cannot make the money that we want, get the body that we want, achieve the goals that we want, even move to the neighborhoods that we want because we are attached to a person that is an old version of us. We tell ourselves once we become 18 or once we become 21 or once we hit a certain age that that is the person that we are. The time that we had to change ourselves and make ourselves better is gone. We have to live in a certain neighborhood because this is where we grew up and this is where our parents grew up. We have to get a certain job because, well, we went to college to get a certain degree. So, of course, we have to work a certain job. We have to deal with certain things because people like us just deal with those things. When you attach yourself to an old version of yourself, to an old identity of yourself, there's no way you can move forward. And a lot of times we think of that thing as being a platform, right? This is supporting who I am and my identity. But the whole time it's an anchor. It's really what's keeping you down. This idea that you have to stay loyal to this old version of you or old people inside of your life. Because if you're not loyal to them, especially if they didn't quote unquote do anything wrong, you're the bad person. Well, isn't it wrong that you're not able to live the life that you want? Isn't it wrong that you're not happy? Isn't it wrong that you have anxiety on a constant basis because of financial reasons, because of relationship reasons? But you're feeling like you're going to be the bad one. Why? Because you're so attached to this old version of yourself, the idea of yourself, the person you were when you graduated high school, the person you were when you first entered that relationship. And you can't acknowledge the fact that you've changed. And that's okay. That's a good thing. But you keep trying to keep hold of this other part of you that is simply telling you, let me go, be free, become the person you really want to be. And this is normal. We have attachments because it gives us a certain level of certainty. It gives us a certain level of comfortability. Attachments tell us this is a constant in our life. This is what we're attached to. So you get attached to getting that good morning text every single morning. You get attached to making a certain amount of money. You get attached to living inside a certain neighborhood. And that gives you the certainty. Some people are okay with the fact that they know their car is going to shut off every stop sign. They know they gotta roll past the stop signs. If they stop their car might shut off. And instead of doing things to get out of that car, they're okay with that. I will never forget when I first got my first ever car, the tire pressure light was on. And I remember saying to one of my friends, like, you have to do something about changing this tire pressure light and, something to that effect. And she was like, what you talk about? Everybody got that light on. Mind you, I had never had a car before. So I'm over here stressing, like, what am I supposed to do? Oh my gosh, I don't know how to fix this thing. And she told me it was okay. That's not okay. It's something wrong with my car. I don't care if it's the tire pressure light. I don't care if it's uh anything. But if you get attached to the idea that everyone does this, everyone's tire pressure light is on, it makes it feel like it's okay and it's not. But that attachment makes people feel okay. Oh, well, there's something wrong with my car, but everybody has this thing wrong. So it's okay. Why? Because it gives people certainty. Because instead of feeling like how I felt in the beginning, like, okay, something is wrong, they become comfortable with that, even though they know that isn't particularly right. And I want you to know the more you attach yourself to things, the more you tend to worry about external things and external people because you get attached to the feeling that they give you. You get attached to the identity that you have with them and the constants in your life. And like I said before, there's some people that get used to a good morning text. You could be in a toxic relationship with someone that doesn't treat you right. You know they don't treat you right. You know they're not good for you. But as soon as you try to break it off, you know what keeps you coming back? That empty feeling that you get in the morning when you're used to them texting you, or that empty feeling you get when you're used to rolling over and them being there. And for you, you're like, but I know this relationship isn't good for me. I know this person isn't good for me, but why do I feel empty? Why do I feel? Because you're still attached to that old version of yourself. Acknowledge the fact that that relationship gave you what you needed at the time. Acknowledge the fact that that job gave you what you needed at the time. That situation gave you what you needed at the time. And you don't have to recreate it with every relationship. You don't have to recreate it with every job. Don't attach yourself to the person that you were, the constants that you had in your life when you were in that particular situation. Because even though you may leave a bad situation, you're still going to feel empty. Why? Because you're attached to that old version of yourself. And especially when it comes to, getting accolades or even being in relationships, I want you to understand, if you try to be loved or cared about or cared for specific things that you do, then you will be loved for somebody that you are not. When you try to do things for people in the mindset that if I have this certain car, people like me more. If I work a certain job, people like me more. If I get this degree, people will like me more and they will care about me more. If I post a certain picture, then I want you to understand you might be loved and you might be cared for. But I want you to know you're going to have to keep up that actor role for the rest of your life. Because as soon as you try to shut it off, as soon as you try to be the person that you truly are, the person that you truly want to be, they're going to be like, whoa, wait a minute, wait. What happened to the person that always cook dinner for me every single night and do everything that I want them to do and allow me to disrespect them and allow me to. There are some people that are going to get mad because you want to get respect. There are some people who are going to get mad because they can't treat you bad. Why? Because you allowed them to for so long. That can be a relationship as an intimate partner, or that could be a boss that you have at work. But you have to understand, if you do things with the intent that people will care for you more and care about you more or value you more, then you are going to be loved and cared about for someone that you are not. And I want you to understand, when you detach, you can take yourself out of situations and see things that you can improve on and fix instead of dwelling on them. A lot of times too, when we're attached to a certain situation, it's easy for us to dwell on it all day, right? You got into an argument with someone, or you have a situation, or there's just something that you dwell on all day. And as I've said before in my videos, in order to remember something, you have to forget something. And that's another reason why it's hard for you to go after your goals. It's hard for you to remember to drink all that water. It's hard for you to remember that you have to go to the gym. It's hard for you to remember all the things that you're supposed to be doing. Go to the grocery store and actually get fruits and vegetables and not just all microwavable food. Because you dwelling about that situation from earlier. Because you're so attached to that guy that hasn't been treating you right. Because you're so attached to that job that's not treating you right. And all day, all you want to do is get on the phone with your friends. Oh, I hate my job. Oh, why does he treat me like this? I love him. I do everything for him. Why would he? Because you're attached to that thing instead of flipping it and being like, you know what? Hold on, wait. Let me detach myself for this thing. Let me take myself out of this situation, step back, sometimes in that exact moment or sometimes after, and be like, how can I fix this thing instead of dwelling on this thing? And that's another great thing for in the moment. I've learned that for myself. Instead of being that kind of individual that always has to react, always has to say something, always have to, if something is making me have a bad emotion or a bad feeling, before I do anything, I sit back and I say, how do I want to respond to this? Even sometimes when certain people is talking, how do I want to respond to this? Because it's so easy to be that person in the moment that's flippy. It's so easy to be that person in the moment that cusses somebody out and yells at somebody. But then when you step back, you're like, you know what? I could have handled it differently. Or the repercussions to that thing make you feel like, I wish I never did it. So that's something else that you need to start doing. Detach yourself from things sometimes. Take yourself out of yourself and be like, you know what? How would I want to respond to this thing the best way? Because a lot of times too, I've learned in life, especially as I got older, a lot of people don't deserve a response from me. A lot of people don't deserve a back and forth from me. They don't deserve but in that moment they do, right? Because they get you mad, they get you frustrated, they get you flustered. But I had to take myself some time out of moment, take a breath. Okay, how would I react? Because it's so easy to see things through a narrow window and not see the outside options that you have. You see that you're stressing over paying your rent. And all you could think about is paying your rent, paying your rent, paying your rent. But let's take a step back and look at how to make more money, how to not put ourselves in a situation again, instead of focusing in and honing in on that one singular thing that possibly is going to keep happening again if we keep continuing to dwell on it. And I want you to also understand detaching allows you to have gratitude for certain things that you didn't see as being grateful before. Like now that I've detached myself from a lot of stuff, it's so easy in the moment, or so easy when you don't detach yourself to things, to see the bad in situations. Oh, me and him broke up. Oh, I had to move out of my apartment. Oh, I had to move back home with my parents, and see all the bad, bad, bad. And a lot of times too, that's what make you go through it again because you ain't learned from it. When you detach yourself out of situations, you be like, you know what? Actually, he wasn't good for me. You detach yourself out of situations. Actually, I'm kind of gonna live with my parents for a little bit because I could save some money because I wasn't able to go on the last girl's trip, but now I probably could save some money so I'll go on a trip with my friends. You detach yourself. You know what? That job was pretty good and I learned some good things there, but honestly, I didn't see myself working there for 10, 15 years anyway. But it's so easy to get fired from a job that you knew you did not want and be like, oh, they fired me, they fired me. Don't you be on the phone with your friends every day saying how you gonna quit? But you so attached to that person you were at that job. You're so attached to that person that you were in that relationship. Instead of looking at it and being like, you know what? Even though we aren't together anymore, I'm so glad what I learned about myself during that thing. I'm so glad that I was even able to experience someone like that, whether good or bad. And so I want you to not have this toxic positivity mindset, but sometimes detach yourself from things and be like, okay, is it completely bad? Or is this something in the sense of I can reframe it, right? It's actually something called cognitive reframing. It's when you just become aware of your thoughts and shape them to be differently. You literally reframe the way that you think about things. Because you have the option too. A lot of times we feel like we don't. We feel like if something was a bad situation, then we must have bad thoughts. But no, you literally can cognitive reframe and think about things differently. Instead of being like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to lose weight and everybody else gets to eat whatever they want to eat and I can't eat what I want to eat because I'm trying to lose weight. Look at that as a different way. Okay, so now I have to be more specific and intentional about the things that I eat. What are some ways that I can try to make some of this healthy food taste good? Instead of eating dry asparagus and dry salads, let's find some foods that I actually like. Change it around so it could benefit you. Stop attaching yourself to that person you were before. Because it's easy to attach yourself to your prior self and be like, oh, before I used to eat anything that I wanted to. And I used to, do this and do that. You lose your job and you making less money. Oh, before I could always go on vacation and I was always able to, go out with my friends and I was always able to. Now I can't. Instead, you know what? This time around, I'm better about saving money. Now, this time around, I'm actually more intentional about when I go out. Now, I just don't go out with anybody because I ain't got the money to do it. So now, when I go out, I genuinely make sure I have fun. It's so easy to go out and just be there and not really have fun and enjoy yourself, but spend money. But when you're intentional, like, you know what? When I go out, I need to have a good time because I ain't know if I got money for the next time. You detach yourself from your previous self. Yes, I was able to do those things. Yes, I was able to enjoy myself, but now we're on to something else. And I want you to understand that you are enough as you are now, but you still have what it takes to change. Don't feel like I have to become this whole new person because you know what? I have to detach myself from my old self and I can't see my old self anymore. Today, watching this video, you are enough to change your life. It's not saying that you cannot necessarily read more books or you can't experience new things or you can't just become a new person. But I want you to understand that even with detachment, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to feel like you're not enough now. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be mad at yourself now and be mad at your prior experiences. You are enough today because today is the person that's going to take you to tomorrow. Today is the person you're going to look back at and be thankful for. So understand that. And not a soul in this world can take what's meant for you. Don't feel like I waited too long. And if I would have did that thing back then, I would be in this position. If I would have did that, can't nobody take what's for you. The way I look at life is if it don't happen for me, it's never going to happen. Because yes, there are some people that may do things that I wanted to do, but it won't be the same way I would have done it. And I can't put my finger on it and I can't be specific about it because the thing did not happen. But I just know when I do it, when I get it, when it happens for me, it's going to be different. And you have to understand that for yourself as well. And one thing that has definitely helped me with, getting into my detachment era is practicing care of oneself. The more you care about yourself, the less you are attached to other things because I know who I am today is enough. Why? Because I care about myself. I'm into self care now. I dry brush. My skin is so smooth. I drink so much water every single day. My skin is doing great. I read books. I listen to podcasts. I nurture myself in so many areas. I practice care of myself because first and foremost, when you really start practicing self-care, you see how much time it takes. I don't even have time to be worried about other people. But then not even with that, I know that I'm enough. Why? Because I constantly show myself I'm enough without just telling myself. I show myself, hey, I care about you. You know why I care about you? Look, I have evidence. A lot of y'all don't have evidence for yourself. You say you care about yourself. You say you, but what ways do you show? I show myself I care about myself. I clean my room. I clean my bathroom. I do things that show me, hey, you're worthy to go to a bathroom, to have a bathroom that's clean. You're worthy to have a car that's clean. And that takes time, which allows me, like I said, in order to remember something, you have to forget something else. So if I keep myself in the focal point of my thoughts, it's easy to forget the things that other people say and do. Another thing I stopped doing, specific action, checking my phone in the morning and so often throughout the day. I noticed also my phone, one of the things that we always use and we're always on, made me also feel less than. It's so easy to wake up in the morning and see people dealing with situations. I saw this one girl, her grandmother passed away, and she was, ready to post about her grandmother. And I felt sad about my grandmother. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. There was no reason for me to feel sad about my grandmother. She's perfectly fine. But then I started thinking about my grandmother. Oh, did I call my grandmother enough? Oh my gosh, I have to call her today. I wonder how she's doing. Simply because I allowed someone else's emotions and their situation to attach themselves to me. And yes, I'm a content creator, y'all, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Now that I shoot content, as far as long form content, I'm not on my phone as much. I mean, I'm looking up content ideas sometimes, but I'm actually shooting and living in this thing. I'm not on my phone as much. Like, I can't do it. I realize 1 minute I'm happy, 1 minute I'm sad, 1 minute it's a good video, 1 minute it's a sad video. I don't know. I just couldn't do it. And so I say that to say those are specific examples, but all around, I want you to understand that you are enough as you are now, as I said. And you have the ability to detach yourself from any situation, from any mindset, from anything. I'm not the same woman that I was last year. I'm not the same woman that I was when I graduated high school. I'm not the same woman I was when I moved 5 hours away from my hometown. And the woman that I was back then, she was enough. She didn't know it yet, but she was enough. And because she knew she was enough, she did the things even when she wasn't certain, even when she wasn't sure, to make me the person that I am now. And I thank her for that. But I had to detach myself from having this mindset that I wasn't enough. I had to detach myself from the mindset that I have to achieve all these things, or people or guys will only like me if I look like this and I dress like an Instagram model, even though I'm built kind of boxy. I detach myself from those things. I don't have the expectation of myself on how people have to perceive me and people thought of me. Of course, I want to be liked to a certain extent because we all do. But at the same time, I don't have this mindset like, oh my gosh, everybody has to like me and everybody has to. No, why? Because I like myself. And there are times where I'm down on myself. There are times where I sometimes attach myself to outcomes, especially growing on social media. But I am in the habit of reminding myself you are enough. And so I want you to know that you are enough. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. Comment below and tell me, guys, if you like this kind of content. It was very fun making it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you need some daily motivation, don't forget to follow me because every single morning and afternoon, I post motivational quotes on my community page. Thank y'all and have a great one.